Miami this year. Yeah, I regret that. They didn't help.
Yeah, you might regret that. You buy stuff online, don't you? I want to feel and touch the merchandise. I don't want to just buy stuff online. It's so lazy.
I agree with you. I do not buy stuff online because when it comes and it doesn't feel right or doesn't fit right, then I have to return it. That's very annoying. I wish there were stores, but this is the lament of an old man. Welcome to PTI, boys and girls. In today's episode, Oklahoma tries to make history. Luis Gil stars again for the Yankees, and Gino Auriemma apparently plans to stick around. But we begin today with a report in The Athletic that J.J. Redick is the current frontrunner for the vacant job as head coach of the Los Angeles Lakers. The report lists New Orleans assistant James Borrego as another leading candidate. Redick currently does a podcast with LeBron James, which is being flippantly characterized as Redick's job interview. Wilbon, does this fit make sense to you?
Tony, I don't think it's flippant. It does have a, you chuckle like I just did. But, Tony, this has been out there for weeks. It's talked about all the time in basketball circles. Maybe it's not been as big a story as anything involving Caitlin Clark or involving, Edmonton getting to the Stanley Cup Finals or the NBA Finals. But this is a big deal. This involves LeBron James. And J.J. Redick wouldn't be the first person to go from sort of the booth, if you will. There's no booth. You sit at a table. Because Pat Riley did that to coaching, to the sideline. Doc Rivers did that. It's been done. But it seems like, Tony, there's no question, and you covered this league a long time as I have, there's no question that the most important thing a head coach can do in this league, maybe even more than the other leagues, is have a relationship that is productive with the star player. That's requisite. Because if you don't have that, you're gone. And it seems like that whether it's the podcast generated or not, I don't know what the genesis was, but J.J. Redick seems to have that with LeBron James. They seem to have that thing that will work for the two of them. I know LeBron says, he doesn't have anything to do with the hiring a coach. Please stop. Please stop with that. So if he and J.J. Redick have that relationship, nobody's going to question J.J. Redick's knowledge and fitness to coach. That would be insane to question that. Is it going to work? I have no idea. Would it be fascinating to watch? Yeah.
So there are a few constants in the NBA, and one of them is that LeBron James hires and then mostly fires coaches. He got rid of Paul Silas. He got rid of David Blatt. He got rid of Mike Brown. He got rid of Luke Walton. He got rid of Frank Vogel. Now he just got rid of Darvin Ham. He never got rid of Eric Spoelstra. I don't even know if he tried. But, and I say this respectfully, and I know that you will agree with this, LeBron James is more important than any coach on the team LeBron James is playing on. So if he wants J.J. Redick, he's going to get J.J. Redick. Am I surprised?
That's right.
I'm not in the inner circles that you're in. Yes, I am surprised because I thought Redick enjoyed what he was doing as a broadcaster. He's had a rather rocket ship ride. He was hired just 2 or 3 years ago, and now he's working the NBA Finals. And there's got to be some luck for that to happen. And in this particular case, Doc Rivers was on the crew, and then he took the job as the head coach of the Milwaukee Bucks, so there was an opening. Well, Darvin Ham got fired, and so there's an opening. And I agree with you that Redick's pedigree is certainly worthy of looking at him as a coach. He played for Mike Krzyzewski, the Olympic coach. He played 15 years in the league. It would be meteoric if he got the Laker job. But I guess I wouldn't be surprised. There is one thing, though, Mike. The name that pops up in my head now is Steve Nash. And that didn't work out. So I don't know.
Right. Tony, that's interesting because, Steve Nash certainly had those kinds of credentials and intellect. And you listen to Steve Nash and you know he can communicate complicated things and make them simple. J.J. Redick
and was a better player.
At that.
Was a better player. Was a two-time MVP.
Yes. Well, Steve Nash, a better player. But can J.J. do these things with the guy who isn't LeBron? Or does that even make any difference? Fascinating to watch develop. Let's move to Oklahoma's quest for a 4th consecutive national title in softball. The Sooners take on the Texas Longhorns at a best-of-3 final that gets underway tonight. While Oklahoma is the 3-time defending champ, it's scraped by Florida to get here, and Texas is the tournament's top seed for whatever that means. So, Tony, do you like Oklahoma's chances to become the first team ever to win 4 straight NCAA softball crowns.
Yeah, you know me a long time. We've worked together a long time. You know that what I know about college softball couldn't even fit a shot glass. I don't honestly know anything. But last night, I saw the highlight of the walk-off homer by Oklahoma, and I felt it was thrilling.
Jada Coleman.
And a lot of times, Mike, and you might be the same way, I land on softball and I stay for a while. If I'm watching, I do stay for a while. I know that Texas and Oklahoma are not just conference rivals. They're the best 2 teams in the country. And I'm told that the players on Oklahoma are more than a little bit miffed that Texas is the 1 seed and they're the 2. Because in the Big 12, in the Big 12 championship, Oklahoma beat Texas. And over the course of the year, they were 2-2. And Oklahoma's probably thinking, wait a second, in the one game we played where it was all on the line, we won. So why are they ahead of us? And going into this tournament, I want to get the numbers right, Oklahoma was 49-6 and Texas was 47-7. And I've just exhausted all my knowledge, and you can talk for a while and then I'll make a pick.
I don't know that I need to talk for a while. I have paid a little bit more of attention than you to this, particularly these 2 teams, because Northwestern was in the tournament and played and lost to the number 1 seed, Texas. And we got a pretty good team, and we're building and building and building and building a new stadium. Thank you very much in Evanston for the softball team. So I'm excited about that, and that has carried me into paying more attention first to Texas and then Jada Coleman in Oklahoma, and just being sort of amazed at Oklahoma that this is what they do. I mean, only UCLA has done anything like this, right? And when you look at these, you look at dominant college programs in whatever sport it is, it's sort of amazing, right? And Oklahoma, Tony, has the advantage, I think, of playing with a chip on its shoulder for reasons you already mentioned. They're looking at this going, Texas, are you serious? But it was a 2-2 split. Can Texas manufacture enough hatred for Oklahoma?
Oklahoma won 3 in a row, and they won 5 out of 7, and Texas hasn't won at all. And you can say to me that's ancient history, and it doesn't matter. I found this out today, which I find interesting, that Texas has the number 1 batting average in the country, but against lefties, here's the number, Mike, they're 22nd against lefties. And Kelly Maxwell, the Oklahoma star pitcher, is a lefty. So there you got it. Let's move to baseball, specifically the Yankees rotation. Luis Gil went 6 innings last night, gave up 1 hit, no runs, struck out 6 Twins. Gil's now 8-1 with an ERA of 1.82. Gil is the guy who replaced Garrett Cole in the rotation when Cole went out with arm trouble. Well, Cole had a minor league rehab start yesterday. He went 3 1/3 scoreless innings, allowing 2 hits, striking out 5. Cole later said he was close to getting back to the Yankees. So, Wilbon, which is the bigger news for the Yankees, what Gil did or what Cole did?
I've been going back and forth on this, Tone, but I'm going to stick with Cole, my first thought. Because you have Cole, you have him at the top of that starting rotation and Gil. You have both of them, and you go, my goodness, the Yankees are as good as anybody, and that means the Dodgers, and it means the Phillies. It means anybody in baseball. You know what the lineup has. But if you put Garrett Cole out there knowing what he has done as an ace in multiple places, multiple years, so I'm seduced by that. And I understand it's Double-A, and I understand Cole's probably going to have another appearance or 2 or start or 2, and he's not there yet. But, man, if you put, that's a daily double. Maybe that's unbeatable, and you don't know how long Gil can keep this up, but you think you know how long a healthy Cole can keep it up.
So I've thought about it the same way you've thought about it. I came to the other conclusion that if I were the Yankees today, just today, I would place more faith in what Gil did because he won a Major League Baseball game that counts in the standings. What Cole did is hand you a promise, and what Gil has done is delivered on something. He's been sensational, Mike, not just 8-1 and 1.82.
He's been great.
He's allowed no more than 1 run in 9 starts. He's allowed no more than 3 hits in 10 starts. He's looking like Cy Young. But I will agree with you in this regard. If you take the wider view, it's Cole. If Cole can get back to we know he won the Cy Young last year. We know what he can do over the course of a full season. You know, and then you have with the Yankees, if they're 1-2, let's look at the Yankees. They've already got the best record in the American League, and they're tied with the Phillies for the best record in baseball at 43-19. I'll say this. If Gil could win the Cy this year, so you'd have Gil and Cole, which isn't much different than having Judge and Soto. It isn't. It's great, right? It's great.
It is. It is.
Let's take a break. Coming up, what's the word for Paul Skeens facing the Dodgers tonight?
And apparently Gino Auriemma wasn't as close to walking away as some, that would be me, thought.
So do you think Redick will get this job and they'll just wait till after the finals to make an announcement so he can be on the broadcast team?
I think it's done. If JJ wants the job.
Time to exchange words with Wilbon on what's the word, what's first.
Paul Skeens facing the Dodgers tonight should be blank.
My word is examined. Examined in the sense that we should all want to see it and examine it. And examine in the sense that it is a kind of an exam for Skeens. I'm not saying it's a final exam, Mike, or it's the SATs or something like that. But the top of the Dodger order is an exam for a pitcher. Because you got Mookie Betts, you got Shohei Ohtani, you got Freddie Freeman. They're all former MVPs. They don't care if you come in at 102. They're pros. The faster it comes in, the faster it goes out. Now, I don't know with Skeens. I don't know if you can study for this exam, but I hope he's excited for it. I know he's 2-0. I know his ERA is like 2.45, and he's got 30 strikeouts in 23 innings. He's the hot boy right now, but he hasn't faced the Dodgers. So I think most of us want to see how you're going to do against the Dodgers.
Well, it's must-see for all the reasons you said. It's must-see. You go against the top of that order with Mookie, Shohei, and Freddie Freeman. You just want to see those confrontations. That reminds me of old school baseball. If you can keep, a manager or somebody off the mound and walking out of there and let this kid have some chance, he can go 100 miles an hour, double digits in the game. But you're wrong about the exam part, because last night the Dodgers failed that exam. Jared Jones is doing the same thing. If I had any stones, my word would be repetitive instead of must-see, because Jared Jones shut down the Dodgers. 6 innings, gave up nothing. That same order. Look, I'm scared. I'm scared of the Pirates because I'm in that division, and these guys will come out. Can you imagine if they are back-to-back in the order all the time? I mean, you'll be blinded. You won't know what to do by the time you get to the third game of a series. Forget 3 times through the order, but must see anyway.
Let me just ask a question. Yeah.
Yeah.
Are the Cubs still in that division, or have they been relegated?
Yeah.
You sure they're still in that division?
They've been
What's
relegated.
next?
The White Sox relegated from Major League Baseball.
Next.
Gino Auriemma just agreed to a 5-year extension at UConn, which must mean he's blank.
So I don't have a word. I have 2 words, and my words are change gears. He reversed himself. He changed gears. He changed his mind. He dropped it into drive. Because the last time that we heard from Gino Auriemma on this subject, he said, I'm looking at single-digit wins from now on until the end. He made it very clear to all of us he was near the end. He said, I'm not chasing Tara Vanderveer's number. I'm not chasing anything here. Well, now he just signed up for 5 more years. He's going to get that number by the end of the first year. He's going to go all the way through to 75, which I point out is a damn good age, 75. And you know what, Mike? I'm happy for this because he's a great coach. He recruits great talent. And what was he going to do? Was he going to become a crossing guard? Was he going to go work at Walmart? I'm glad for this.
Well, Tony, first of all, I'm glad for it, but I don't believe he's going 5 years. It's a reward. But the word is the same as your thought, reversing field. Hyphenated word, reversing field, because in February, Gino put it out there. I feel fortunate that I've been able to have some conversations with Gino Auriemma in my life. And I was about to reach out to say to him, congratulations, sounds like you're done. Who's earned it more than you to walk away whenever you want? You've won championships. You've produced champions and just stellar people. I mean, it's unbelievable what he's done in his time. Right off into the sunset, and then you hear this 5-year deal. Good for him, too, because he's earned the right to do whatever he wants. But you believe Gino's staying 5 years? I know. I believe part of this is a reward.
I don't know.
And if anybody should be rewarded, as a coach right now, active coach in any sport, Gino Auriemma.
I mean, you're right. You're right about it being a reward, but maybe he will stay 5 because, again, the question comes up. It's come up with me. Well, what are you going to do instead? What are you going to do? That's the
Rest.
final word. Let's take
Watch
one last
TV.
break. Still to come. Your boy Novak Djokovic apparently is not saving himself for Wimbledon after all.
No. Told you that's the whole generation is done. And the WNBA addresses the second technical foul. They got Angel Reese ejected from last night's loss.
This is the way of life. You sound smart on Tuesday, you sound stupid on Wednesday. That's what happens. It's okay. I don't mind. Happy time, people. Happy 68th birthday, Mike Zimmer. Zimmer is the new defensive coordinator of the Dallas Cowboys, a job that opened up when Dan Quinn left to become head coach in Washington. It's Zimmer's second stint doing it in Dallas, having run the defense for Dave Campo and Bill Parcells in the early 2000s. The star of this year's squad is linebacker Micah Parsons, who said yesterday, quote, "Honestly, me and Zim have probably said a total of 20 words to each other. He's a very quiet person, and all I keep hearing from the coach is, Zim likes it this way." And I was like, I like it this way. I can't wait to have my true sit down with him. I think it'll be pretty cool because obviously old school mindset, old school mentality. I think he's had a lot of great players, but he ain't never had a Micah before, unquote.
Yeah, is Parsons better than Nick Bosa, Joey Bosa, TJ Watt, Aaron Donald, who still, he may be retired, but he hasn't missed a game yet, Myles Garrett, Max Crosby, Trey Hendrickson? Is Parsons better than those guys? He's not LT yet. He's been terrific, and I'd take him. But, let's not go crazy. He hadn't been Defensive Player of the Year yet. I know Aaron Donald's been that. So Parsons got a little ways to go, huh?
I think that's fair, but he's a great player. Happy anniversary, Michael Jordan. On this day 33 years ago, you pulled off one of the most memorable moves in NBA Finals history, switching hands in mid-flight to avoid Sam Perkins and scoring in a game and series the Bulls won over the Lakers. A young columnist for the Washington Post named Michael Wilbon, I hope I have that name right, called it the best move he'd ever seen Jordan make. Wrote Wilbon, quote, "To pass the ball from one hand to another while being confronted by an octopus like Perkins, then to levitate and kiss the ball off the glass with a reverse spin is something to serenade," unquote. Unfortunately, Wilbon couldn't break into song because in order to avoid showing emotion on press row, he was biting our friend David Aldridge in the arm through the jacket and shirt, leaving marks on David's skin. Wilbon was such a character. Whatever happened to him?
I thought that was off the record. By the way, that was a pretty good sentence or two. But you know what it means? I am so washed up, it's not even funny. But I bit Aldridge to keep from cheering. Oh my God, a spectacular move. Huh?
Yeah.
Doesn't get any better.
It was. Happy trails to Wimbledon for Novak Djokovic. The 24-time Grand Slam winner was reportedly scheduled to have surgery today for a torn meniscus in his right knee. At least one dashing commentator wondered yesterday whether Djokovic withdrew from the French Open in order to heal up for Wimbledon, which he's won 7 times. But today's surgery would appear to scuttle that admittedly brilliant theory. More realistically, Djokovic could be ready for the Paris Olympics, which start on July 27th. Djokovic said earlier this year that the games were the priority for him. This is a quote, "That's where I want to play my best tennis. Anything else is a bonus, so let's see what happens," unquote. And I would ask you this, Mike. I didn't realize the Olympics was a big deal in tennis at all. I guess I'm wrong.
Well, I guess that's an individual choice. I'm just, Tony, I'm sad. We're mourning a generation of great tennis players, from Serena to Federer to Djokovic to Nadal.
Yeah.
Bye-bye is a transition. I know there's a lot of young players out there and even not so young, but man, when you got to wave goodbye to all that winning, that's a lot for one sport to wave bye-bye to in like a 3-year period.
I'm just saying this, that I can't name any Olympic champions in tennis, but I can name Wimbledon, and I can name the U.S. Open, and I can name the French. So I thought
Usually
it was a priority. Anyway,
same people.
Let's go to the big finish. Here we go.
Let's do it.
The WNBA rescinded the second technical foul that got Angel Reese tossed from a loss for the Liberty last night. Your thoughts?
I don't know. I pay attention, to the sky, all of it, and Angel Reese, all the stuff that she's doing. I mean, when you wave an official off, that is subjective. Colts safety Daniel Scott will miss his second season with a torn Achilles after missing his first season with a torn ACL. Wow. Your thoughts?
My thoughts are, is there anything left to tear? I mean, you hope not. You hope the guy, he's not been on the field yet. 16-year-old Lily Johannes scored for Team USA in her international debut last night. Are you impressed?
Trained by Ajax, but local for us, Tony, from Virginia, from the DMV. So that'll be really cool for us to watch. Like Freddie would do in the old days, huh, local? Former NBA player Chase Budinger made the Olympic team in beach volleyball. You impressed with that?
Very impressed when athletes go to another sport. You know who loved beach volleyball? Wilt Chamberlain.
Wilt.
Last one, the White Sox have lost 12 straight. 13 tonight? What do you think?
I hope so. They're playing the Cubbies. And then, you know, the Cubs last night, if they lost to the White Sox at Wrigley, that would have been unforgivable. They came back and won.
We're out of time. We'll try and do better the next time. I am Tony Kornheiser.
And I'm Mike Wilbon. Same time tomorrow, Knuckleheads. You can get the podcast on the app or Apple Podcast.
Hunter Stephon Diggs. Here's C.J. Stroud on Diggs' arrival in Houston.
Man, he's come in and been a leader, which I'm proud of him for, and just really has been unselfish and wanted to see other guys eat, and that was his main thing. Is like he wanted to be around other dogs, and he stepped into that role where there's a dog everywhere. He looks right, he looks left. There's going to be a dog. So, and he wanted that, and that's what we bring to the table. And he's been nothing but just amazing so far, and I'm very excited to work with him.
Back here with Lewis and Boog. Boog, we're talking about a player here that has led the NFL in catches the last 4 years. Any concerns about Diggs being okay, perhaps getting less targets this season and sharing?
Yeah, I think there's always a little bit of concern, Kev. First of all, shout out to C.J. Stroud. It's been cool to see him not only have a great rookie year, but through this offseason, his star has shined brighter off the field and some of the podcasts and some of the spotlights that he's been in. That's number one. Number two, Kev, back to the point. Stephon Diggs got kicked out of Minnesota because he caused noise. He got kicked out of Buffalo essentially because he caused noise. So at some point, you would think he's going to cause some noise in Houston. That's kind of his MO. I hope it doesn't happen. I hope he goes down there and becomes a good soldier. I hope he lines up and plays football to his level, because I think then the Texans have an opportunity to be a true Super Bowl contender with Nico Collins, Stephon Diggs, and Tank Dell. But if we just look at the track record, Kev, what in the past has given us confidence to say he's not at some point going to want the football? That's what receivers do. Chris Carter told us years ago, receivers are about two things, them and their money. That's it. They're not concerned about anything else. That's what receivers are about. So at some point, I think the track record of a receiver and the track record of him, I would lean to him creating some noise more times than not.
Well, first of all, let me just say this. Let me echo what you said. C.J. Stroud is that dude. End of story. He's that guy. Mm-hmm. And he was going to ascend. And he's going to ascend like a rocket ship. And it's going to be fun to watch. Number two, look, I'll tell you what. There isn't a coach in the NFL who I would say I have more confidence in his ability to snuff out and be able to kind of put a lid on any kind of smoldering fire, more so than that guy right there. More so than that guy. Because you know what? He is like the perfect crossover from, he still looks like a Mike Backer. Mm-hmm. Have you seen his arms? Have you seen the way this dude looks right now? He could probably step in and give you 10 to 15 first and second down reps. And on top of it, he's so grounded. He's so intelligent. He has such a command. I ain't worried about nothing in Houston. Nothing. The McNair family hit this ball so far out of the park with hiring DeMeco Ryans, and the way they have added to this football team this year, I'm not worried about anything. Stephon Diggs is the least of my concerns. I just want this team to stay healthy and let them go on and continue to improve. DeMeco Ryans will handle it, whatever comes.
Okay, just for the record, too, so everybody knows, Boog talked about the receivers and what their priorities are. For Boog, it's his golf shirts and his golf game. And for Lewis, it's about his three-piece and his suits, just so you know. Diggs also spoke yesterday and said this about now former quarterback Josh Allen.
When I got to Buffalo, Josh is still my guy, you know what I'm saying? Like, people don't really understand what it's like to be out there, you know what I'm saying? And he really embraced me, you know what I'm saying? He kind of had that Southern hospitality, you know what I'm saying? So for me, he embraced me. We spent a lot of time, and I probably wouldn't be right here if it wasn't for him too. So, you know, I got a lot of love for that boy. So y'all give him a hug and a kiss for me.
Okay, so he's saying all the right things. Okay, Lewis, with Diggs gone, though, what expectations do you have with Josh Allen in this Bills offense?
I think it could be very similar to what happened